Hello everyone, this is yours JK. Today we are going to solve one model problem related to design of connecting rod. For that purpose, I am consider one previous problem from the University of JNTK. So let's see that a problem. Here, uh, here I am mentioned where I am consider that problem. That is the JNTK R13 regulation, April 2016 regular exams and set number 3, question number third one. So this is the problem. So let's start the problem. The following data is given for connecting rod of diesel engine. That means here provided data is related to diesel engine connecting rod. So let's see that one. Here provided a cylinder bore that is equal to 85 mm and length of the connecting rod that is equal to 350 mm, and after that a maximum pressure, that means what is the pressure developed inside the engine or maybe inside the cylinder, that is equal to 3 megapascal. A factor of safety that is equal to 5, and length to diameter ratio of piston pin that is equal to 1.5, and length to diameter ratio of crank pin that is equal to 1.25. Allowable bearing pressure for piston pin that is equal to 13 megapascal and crank pin that is equal to 11 megapascals. After that, stroke length is also given here, that is equal to 140 mm, and after that mass of the reciprocating parts is 1.5 kgs and speed of the engine is 2000 rpm. Allowable stress in bolts that is equal to 90 Newton per mm square, and after that allowable tensile stress in cap 95 Newton per mm square. And finally density of connecting rod, that means based on that material here density of the connecting rod is provided, that is equal to 7800 kg per meter cube. Design a connecting rod. So this is the problem and this is given data, and based on this given data we are going to design a suitable connecting rod for diesel engine. Before we are entering into the problem, write down the given data what is provided here. So let's see that one. So I am using this space because here we doesn't have much more space. That's why given data, I am giving the symbols. What is the data provided in here? So cylinder bore, we know that is indicated by capital D, that is equal to 85 mm, and after that length of the connecting rod. So that length of the connecting rod indicated by small l, that is equal to 350 mm, and after that a maximum pressure, it is denoted by P, that is equal to 3 MPa, 3 megapascals. We know 3 megapascal, 1 megapascal equal to 1 Newton per mm square. So that's why megapascals unit conversion is taken here. And after that factor of safety that is equal to 5 and length to diameter ratio of piston pin. So that's why length to diameter ratio of piston pin I would like to consider L1 by D1, that is equal to 1.5 here. Okay, and after that length to diameter ratio for crank pin I would like to consider L2 by D2, that is equal to 1.25. Okay, and after that allowable bearing pressure for piston and as well as crank pin, both are provided here. See this one, allowable bearing pressure for piston pin and crank pin. So that's why it is indicated by PB1 for piston pin, that is equal to 13 Newton per mm square, and PB2 for crank pin it's 11 megapascal, so that's why 11 Newton per mm square. Okay, and after that stroke length is provided here. Stroke length, that is equal to 140 mm, and after that mass of the reciprocating parts also provided here, that is equal to 1.5 kg. Mass of the reciprocating parts 1.5 kgs, and speed of the engine also given here. It is denoted by capital N, that is equal to 2000 rpm here, rpm. Okay, and after that one we have allowable stress in bolts. So that allowable stress in bolts, it is denoted by ST. Allowable stress in bolts, it is denoted by ST, that is equal to provided here 90 Newton per mm square. And after that in caps also given allowable stress in caps, it is denoted by SBC, that is equal to 95 Newton per mm square. And finally here we have one more data, that is the density of the connecting rod. It is denoted by rho, that is 7800 kg per meter cube. So this is the given data. Before we are going to start the problem, it's better to write down the given data. After that, enter to the problem. So here, what are the important points means, if you find out the problem, first one we are going to design the connecting rod for diesel engine. That's it. That is the measure based on the diesel engine. Based on the given data, we are going to prepare a connecting rod for diesel engine. So let's go to the problem. So we know in the previous lecture we already discussed what are the design steps and what are the formulas are involved. So with the help of that formulas, we are going to design a connecting rod here. So go to that one. The first step is so load due to steam or gas pressure. It is denoted by Fg, that is equal to, we know what is the Fg, pi by 4 d square into P. Here d is the cylinder bore or maybe diameter of the piston. It is also provided. It is also given here, that is 85 mm, and after that P is the maximum pressure. What is the maximum pressure developed in a cylinder? That is P. It is also given here 3 Newton per mm square. So by substituting these values, we get the what is the load due to steam or gas pressure. So that is equal to pi by 4. What is the D here? 85 whole square into 3. By simplifying this one, we get the value, that is approximately 17014.7 newtons. So this is the Fg value here. Consider it's fulfilled as 0.7. It's fulfilled as 1705 for proper design. So this is about the load due to steam or gas pressure. Go to the next step. That is the second step here, inertia force due to reciprocating parts. So it is denoted by Fi, that is equal to cos theta So it is the formula to find out the inertia force due to reciprocating parts. So let's see this term, weight by gravity, it is denoted by, we know very well, weight by gravity, that is equal to mass of the reciprocating parts. That mass of the reciprocating parts, it is also provided in the given data. So this is the value for mass of the reciprocating parts. And after that one, here omega is the angular velocity. So how we get the omega? Omega equal to 2 pi n by 60. Here n is the speed of the crank, or maybe speed of the engine, it is provided here. So by substituting that n, we get the omega value. And after that, r is the radius of the crank. So how we get the radius of the crank? Stroke length by 2. By doing that one, we get the radius of the crank. So that's why r equal to 140 divided by 2, that is equal to 70 mm. It is the radius of the crank here. And next go to the omega. I think omega equal to 2 pi into, what is the speed here? 2000 divided by 60. So by simplifying this one, we get the omega value, that equal to 0.29.33 radians per second. This is about omega value. Okay. Let's see. Here we are already find out the weight to gravity, that is the mass of the reciprocating parts. We have this value, and omega also we are find out it here. And after that, a radius of the crank also we know. And finally, we doesn't know this term, it is the inertia factor. For that inertia factor, we are using the design data book. So before that one, it's better to find out the L by R, length to or radius of the crank value. With the help of this value, by using the design data book, we are consider the inertia factor value. So first of all, find out the L by R value. I think it's better to write down these values here. Omega equal to 209.33 radians per second, and R equal to 70 mm. Okay. So let's see that one. L by R, that is equal to, what is the L here? 350 divided by, what is the R? 70. By simplifying this one, we get the L by R value 5. With the help of this L by R value, we are going to consider the inertia factor, and we are already discussed theta equal to 0. Why? Because the crank angle at TDC condition we are considered 0. By using this L by R and theta value, we are going to consider the inertia factor value with the help of design data book. Let's see that one. So in the design data book, prefer the table number 14.6, values of inertia factor. So with the help of this table, we are consider the inertia factor value here. So let's see. What we get the value L by R, that is equal to 5. So if you find out this one, this is the L by R values, 3.75, 4, 4.25, 4.50, 4.75 and 5.30. What we get here? 5. That means between the range of 4.75 to 5.30. And after that, what is the theta? Here we are considering theta is 0. That means at the crank angle 0 condition, what we get the L by R value. At this position, consider the inertia factor. So let's see that one. Crank angle is 0, and what we get the value of L by R, that is equal to 5. Between this range 1.210 to 1.200, it is the range for inertia factor. if you consider this value or maybe this value, that means which one is the nearest to the our value. Based on that, consider this value or maybe this, or one more option is there. It's better to consider the average value between 4.75 to 5.30. Here I am consider the average value. At this condition, the inertia factor value, that means cos theta plus cos 2 theta by L by R, that is equal to, I get 1.205. This is about the inertia factor with the help of design data handbook. So now see that formula. Here we know each and every value here. By substituting these values, we get the inertia factor. Let's substitute these values here. So Fi equal to weight of the reciprocating parts to gravity, that is the mass we have defined. That value equal to 1.5 into omega 0.9 into 3.33 whole square into what is the R? That is the 70 mm divided by 1000 into what is the inertia factor value here? 1.205. So by simplifying this one, we get the inertia factor value. So that is equal to 5526.7. So consider this value as a 5527. Fulfill this value. So I'll finally, I think it's better to need space. So finally inertia factor Fi equal to 5527 newtons. So this is about the inertia factor value. This is about the second step. Go to the next step. That is the third step. Crippling or buckling load, it is the third step here. So let's see, it is denoted by, we know, FCR, that is equal to SC into A by 1 plus A into L by K whole square. So it is the formula FCR equal to SC into A by 1 plus A L by K whole square. So we know very well that FCR, crippling load or buckling load, it is equal to design load. So that's why first it's better to find out the design load. Design load. So we know the design load is denoted by Ft, that is equal to Fg into Fs. That's the factor of safety. So we already find out that Fg, that is equal to 17015 into factor of safety here 5. By simplifying this one, we get the 85075 newtons. So this is about the design load. So what we know here, the design load equal to crippling or buckling load. So the design load, that is equal to crippling or buckling load. By equating this load, here we are going to find out the section area of the connecting rod and as well as the thickness of the connecting rod. So let's see that one. So here Fd equal to 85075 newtons. Keep it here. Okay, so let's see crippling load. SC is the, we already discussed, compressive load, and A is the area of the cross section of connecting rod, and L is the equivalent length. That equivalent length that is equal to actual length of the connecting rod. So that's why that is equal to 350 mm here. Okay, and after that, here K is the least radius of the gyration. So how we are going to, these are all unknown values here. Okay, A is the Rankine's constant. Rankine's constant here. And if you find out given data, these all are unknown values. So how we are going to consider these values? For the purpose of the values, we are prefer the design data book. So go to the design data book. Okay, that compressive load we are considering first of all based on the material condition or maybe a Rankine constant. In case of given problem, Rankine constant are mentioned. With the help of that value, we are consider the compressive load. In some problems, for example, if you find out this problem, there is no value of Rankine constant or maybe a type of the materials. So that's why here the requirement is diesel engine connecting rod. So that's why I am considered cast iron is the suitable material for this connecting rod at this cast iron condition. So see this one, table 14.2. At this cast iron condition, what is the compressive load and as well as what is the Rankine constant value. Consider these two values, and after that here we are going to in the I section connecting that shape is the I section we are considering. For that I section, what is the least radius of gyration? That values we are considering here. Okay, and here also section modulus also there, and area. If you find out that area 11 t square for I section. So these values are considered to a crippling or buckling load point of view. So let's use that values. At cast iron, condition, SC equal to 550 Newton per mm square from the design data handbook table number 14.2. This is the table number 14.2. And here least radius of gyration value is 1.7 times of T. Okay, what is the Rankine constant here? That Rankine constant value is 1 by 1600. And here area. So the area of the cross section of connecting rod is 11 t square. So these are the considered values. Here we know a crippling load. By equating that crippling load, here we are going to find out the thickness of the connecting rod. So let's see that one. That FCR here is 85075. That is equal to, what is the value of compressive load here? 550. And what is the area? 11 t square. So remember this. These all are values considered from design data book based on the material condition. Okay. Divided by 1 plus, what is the A value here? 1 by 1600. And after that, what is the L? 350 whole divided by 1.78 t whole square. So by simplifying this one, 550 into 11 t square whole divided by 1 plus 76.3.168 t square. Okay, so this is the condition we are by simplifying this one we get this value, and again simplify this value. So what we get here? 550 into 11t to the power of 4 whole divided by t square plus 24.4. So let's see, by equating this value to this one, we get the t value here. So let's see that one. So I think I'm using this space 85075, that is equal to 550 into 11t to the power of 4 whole divided by t square plus 24.4 something. So let's see that one. So simplify this one, and as well as here 11 t square also, 11 t to the power of 4 also there. So by simplifying this one, what we get here? So 85075 into t square plus 24.4 something, that is equal to 550 into 11 to the power of 4. So by simplifying this one, 154.4 t square plus 24.4, that is equal to 11 to the power of 4. Again by simplifying with 11, 14.6 into t square plus 24.4, that is equal to t to the power of. So ultimately by multiplying this value 14.6 t square 340.5, that is equal to t to the power of 4. So ultimately t to the power of 4 minus 14.6 t square minus 340.5, that is equal to 0. So if we find out this equation, it is in the form of a quadratic equation. By applying the quadratic equation, here we get the t value. So applying the quadratic equation here, so let us consider this term as a and b and c. So that's why the t square equal to minus b plus or minus root b square minus 4ac whole divided by 2 into a. So substitute that a values and b values here, that is equal to minus 14.6 plus or minus root, what is the b? 14.6 whole square minus 4 into, what is the a? 1 into, what is the c? 340.5 whole divided by 2 into 1, that is equal to t square. So by simplifying this one, we get the value of t square equal to 10.33 something. From this one, t equal to 3.16 mm. So fulfill this one and take t equal to 4 mm. So this is about the thickness of the connecting rod, web or maybe flange. So by using this thickness, we are going to find out the remaining area and as well as the least radius of gyration of the connecting rod, and after that what is the width and what is the web of the connecting rod. So for that I section condition, if you see this one, this is about the depth of the connecting rod, and this is about the width of the connecting rod. So find out these two values here. So here area equal to 11 t square, so that is equal to 11 into what is the t? 14 square. So by simplifying this one, we get the area value 176 mm square, and depth of the connecting rod, that is equal to 5 times of T, that is equal to 5 into 4, that is equal to 20 mm, and width of the connecting rod that is the 4 times of T, that is equal to 4 into 4 or 16 mm. So this is about the a cross section of the connecting rod. So the value of width that is equal to 16 mm, and depth of the connecting rod, it is the 20 mm here, and after that area of the connecting rod, that is equal to 176 mm. So this is about the cross section dimensions of the connecting rod. And go to the next step. Axial load acting on the connecting rod. The axial load acting on the connecting rod, it is denoted by FA. So we know that FA equal to FC. Why? Because what is the maximum gas pressure or maybe steam load acting on the connecting rod, that is equal to axial load condition. So that's why this is equal to 17015 newtons. So this is about the fourth step, and go to the next step. Go to the next step, that is the fifth step here. So induced maximum bending stress on connecting rod. So let's see that one. It is denoted by SB, that is equal to M maximum by Z. Here that M maximum is the maximum bending momentum and Z is the section modulus. So how to find out this M maximum here? That is equal to area of the cross section of the connecting rod into density of the material, that means which type of materials we are considering here, the density into angular velocity square and radius of the crank, length of the connecting rod square, divided by 9 root 3 into 10 to the power of 12. So it is the formula to find out the maximum bending momentum acting on the connecting rod. And after that, here Z is the section modulus. So how to we are consider that Z? Generally we know what is the shape of the connecting rod. So based on that condition, we are preferred design data book table number 14.4. In that 14.4, we have a section modulus of the connecting rod for I section, that is equal to 14 TQ. So let's simplify these values. That means by substituting these values, we get the M maximum and as well as the section modulus of the connecting rod. Here that M maximum equal to, we know what is the area, 176 into density of the material 7800 into what is the angular velocity, we are already find out that one, 209.33 whole square, and what is the radius of the crank here, 70, and length of the connecting rod, that is the 350 whole square, whole divided by 9 root 3 into 10 to the power of 12. So it is the M maximum. By simplifying this one, we get the what is the overall value of M maximum. That M maximum, that is equal to, we get the 32986 Newton meter. So it is the M maximum acting on the connecting rod. Okay, and next go to the section modulus. That section modulus Z equal to 14 into, we are already find out the thickness of connecting rod web or maybe flange, that is the 4 whole cube. By simplifying this one, we get the section modulus value, that is equal to 896 mm cube. So this is about the section modulus and M maximum. By substituting these two values in this above equation, we get the what is the induced maximum bending stress on connecting rod. Let's substitute those values here. So that is equal to, here M maximum equal to 32986 Newton meter whole divided by, what is the Z? 896 mm cube. By simplifying this one, we get the induced maximum bending stress. So that is equal to 36 point approximately 81 Newton per mm square. So this is about the induced maximum stress acting on the connecting rod. And go to the next step. That is the sixth step here. Bolts for connecting rod big end. So here some minor steps are involved. Let's see what are they. First one is the so it is the first minor step here, maximum inertia force acting on bolts. So it is denoted by FIM. So that is equal to the maximum inertia force acting on the bolts, that is equal to here, what is the inertia force acting on the connecting rod? Why? Because the how much amount of inertia force acting on the connecting rod, it is exactly supplied to the bolts. That's why it is denoted, it is equal to FIM equal to Fi, we know, at the condition of theta equal to 0 degrees condition. So this is about the first minor step. And go to the next minor step, that is the root diameter of bolts. The root diameter of bolts is denoted by DC, that is equal to 2 FIM by pi into ST whole power 1 by 2. So this is the root diameter of bolts. Here we know what is the FIM. FIM equal to Fi. That's why what is the Fi value? We are already find out that value, 5527 newtons. And ST is the allowable tensile stress acting on the bolts. In this problem we have that value, that is the ST, we have that value 90 Newton per mm square. In some problems, the allowable tensile stress of the material or allowable tensile stress of bolts, that value is not mentioned. At that condition, just prefer the design data book to consider that value. So using the table number 14.4, based on the engine condition, in this problem we are going to design the for diesel engine. At that condition of diesel engine, prefer the material. So which type of materials you are consider. So based on that materials, consider the SY value, allowable yield stress value. Using this value, find out the allowable tensile stress of the bolts. So that's why ST equal to SY by factor of safety. So this is the form to find out the ST. But in this problem, we have a ST value. Using that ST value, find out the root diameter of the bolts. So substitute those values, we get the root diameter of the bolts. So the DC equal to 2 into what is the FIM here? That FIM is 5527 whole divided by pi into what is the ST? 90 whole divided by 1 by 2. By simplifying this one, we get the root diameter of the bolts here. So that is equal to 6.25 mm. Let us consider it is as a 7 mm for proper designation. So this is about the root diameter. So by using the root diameter, we are going to find out the nominal diameter of the bolts. So the nominal diameter of bolts is denoted by dB. So that is equal to 1.2 times of DC. Here we are already know DC. So that's why 1.25 into 6. That means here I am considered as a 7. So that is equal to, we get the 7.5 mm. So this is about the nominal diameter of the bolts. So this is about the 6th step here. Go to the next step, that is the small end and big end of the connecting rod. 7th step here. So small end and big ends of the connecting rod. Here also some minor steps are there. The first one is the diameter of piston pin. So it is denoted by D1, that is equal to Fg into PB1 into L1. Here we are already know Fg value, and PB1 is the bearing pressure that is provided in given data. So that is equal to 30 Newton per mm square. PB1 equal to 30 Newton per mm square, and we are already know Fg value. What is the Fg here? 17015 newtons. Okay, and next one, here we know the L1 value. That means in the given data L1 D1 ratio is given, that is 1.5 for piston pin. So from this one, what is the L1? L1 equal to 1.5 D1. Substitute those values here, we get the D1. So that is equal to 17015 divided by what is the F? PB1 here. PB1 is 13 into 1.5 into D1. So by simplifying this one, what we get here? So 19.5 D1 square equal to 17015. From this one, D1 equal to root of 17015 divided by 19.5. So finally here the D1 equal to 29.5 mm. So this is about the diameter of piston pin. By using this diameter of piston pin, L1 equal to 1.5 into 29.5. Ultimately, what is the L1 here? 44.25 mm. So this is about the length of the piston pin, and this is about the diameter of piston pin. And go to the next step, that is the diameter of crank pin. crank pin. So it is denoted by small d2, that is equal to Fg by Pb2 into L2. So here also all values here. Substitute those values. Fg is 17015 divided by what is the Pb2? That Pb2 is 11 Newton per mm square into what is the L2? L2 is the 1.25, that is equal to 1.25. From this one, what is the L2? 1.2 times of D. Substitute the L2 value here, that is equal to 1.25 D2. So by simplifying this one, what we get? The D2 value 13.75 D2 square equal to 17015. From this one, D2 equal to root of 17015 whole divided by 13.75. Ultimately, what is the D2 value here? The D2 equal to 35 mm. So with the help of this one, what is the L2 value here? L2 equal to 1.2 times of D2, that is equal to 1.25 into 35. Here that L2 equal to 43.75 mm. So this is about the diameter of the. Okay, here few more steps are involved. So let's see what are they. First one is the inner diameter of small end. So that is denoted by DIS. It is equal to what is the diameter of piston pin, that's equal to inner diameter of small end. So that's why that is equal to here 29.5 mm. So similarly, for inner diameter of big end side is inner diameter of big end it is denoted by DIB, that is equal to what is the diameter of crank pin. So that's why here that is equal to 35 mm. So this is about inner and outer diameter of small end and big end of the connecting rod. Similarly, next one is the outer diameters for small end and big end. Outer diameter of small end. So it is denoted by DOS, that is equal to D1 plus 2TB plus 2TM. Here we know D1 and TB and TM are the, here TB is the thickness of bush and TM are the thickness of, marginal thickness. So for that values, consider the design data book. So if you find out here, we have on a TB and TM values. Similarly, and in the previous step, we are already find out the diameter of crank pin and diameter of piston pin. Here we have on a PB1 and L1, L2 values. In some problems, the PB1 and PB2 and L1 and L2 values are not provided. At that condition, use these values and find out the diameter of crank pin and piston pin. So here TB is the 2 to 5 mm and the TM is the 5 to 15 mm. Substitute those values in above equation, we get the outer diameter. So that is equal to 29.5 plus 2 into what is the TB. Here I am considering the maximum value 5 plus 2 into TM is the 15. So by simplifying this one, we get the outer diameter of small end side, that is equal to 69.5 mm. So this is about the outer diameter of small end side, and similarly for outer diameter of big end side, so that is denoted by DOB. It is equal to D2 plus 2TB plus 2DB plus 2TM. Here each and every value we know very well, and dB is the nominal diameter. We are already find out that value. Substitute those values here. D2 is the 35 plus 2 into 5 plus 2 into 7.5 plus 2 into 15. So by simplifying this one, we get the outer diameter of big end side. So it is approximately 105 mm. So this is about the inner and outer diameters of small end and big end. Go to the next step, that is the eighth step here. So thickness of big end cap, it is denoted by TC, that is equal to FIM into L dash whole divided by B into SBC whole power 1 by 2. So it is the formula to find out the thickness of big end cap. So let's see, here we know FIM value and L dash. So that L dash is the D2 plus 2TB plus DB plus 2TM. So this is about the L dash. Here we know each and every value. Substitute those values, we get the L dash, and as well as B, that B equal to L2 minus 2TB. So by substituting these values, here we get the L dash and B values, and SB is the, already we know that value, allowable bending stress on cap. It is provided in the problem, that is equal to 95 Newton per mm square. Let's substitute those values. That is equal to, what is the D2 here? 35 plus 2 into 5 plus 7.5 plus what is the dB? What is the TM? 2 into 15. So by simplifying this one, we get the L dash. That L dash equal to 82.5 mm. So this is about the L dash. And similarly, what about the B? What is the L2? Here L2 is the 43.75 minus 2 into, what is the dB? Here I am considered 5. So by simplifying this one, 33.75 mm. So this is about B. So substitute those values in the above equation, we get the thickness of big end cap. So that is equal to, what is the FIM here? FIM equal to, FI we know about that, 5527 into, what is the L dash? That L dash equal to 82.5 whole divided by, what is the B? 33.75 into, and SBC, it is the 95 whole power 1 by 2. So by simplifying that one, we get the TC value here. So the TC equal to 11.91. Let us consider it as 12 mm. So this is about the thickness of big end cap, and these are the design steps involved in the design of connecting rod. So it's better to prepare more previous problems to get the much more knowledge related to design of connecting rod. And this is about the today class. In the next class we are going to discuss about the further engine parts. I think here we have only one major part, that is the crankshaft. In the next class we are going to focus on the concept of crankshaft. Thank you.